Boom! There was a muffled sound from deep underground. All the yin spirits above suddenly paused, showing fear on their faces, as if they were facing the legendary demon who incinerated souls. In the darkness, only the light from the burning stick flickered. In the distance, the red skull in the hands of the blood-sucking demon suddenly made a low crisp sound, and a piece broke off from its right side. The blood-sucking demon's face changed drastically, and he suddenly looked up. This youth had actually broken one of the ghost servants in his 5 ghosts binding formation, and now, with one corner missing from the 4 ghost servants, it was obvious that they couldn't control so many yin spirits anymore, and some of them gradually began to escape. The ground around Zhang Xiaofan suddenly sank, sinking about half a foot deep, and the ghost claw grabbing his foot slowly loosened, turning into a fishy smell and seeping into the ground. However, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, he heard the yin spirits all around screaming in unison. He was horrified and about to resist, but he saw countless yin spirits dispersing and fleeing, with flashes of white light, howls of ghosts, dancing yin spirits, and flashes of red light. Red light, the red light rushing through countless white yin spirits, like electricity, like light, with the flashing skull, had already arrived in front of him in an instant. Zhang Xiaofan was about to leap, but he felt a pain in his foot, which pulled on the wound he had just received. His body staggered, unable to dodge. He only saw the red skull open its mouth, like an evil spirit biting towards him. Zhang Xiaofan, in horror, raised the burning stick to block in front of him, but between the sparks and flashes, a withered hand suddenly stretched out from its mouth, abruptly elongating to 3 feet, with 5 claw-like fingers heavily grabbing his chest. Zhang Xiaofan's body shook violently, and in an instant, he only saw the dry skin on the ghost hand suddenly become full as if blood had poured into it. For a moment, his mind became dizzy. This was naturally the blood-sucking demon's mastery of blood-sucking technique. Watching Zhang Xiaofan being controlled in the palm of his hand, he couldn't help but laugh out loud, shouting, "Kid, return my disciple's life." Zhang Xiaofan was held in his hand, his blood vessels flowing backwards, suffering unbearably. He gradually lost consciousness, only able to struggle desperately with his last bit of strength, swinging the burning stick towards the ghost hand, but he was powerless, like a feather. The blood-sucking demon completely ignored him, snorted, but secretly thought, this kid has nothing special other than his average Taoist skills. But the treasure in his hand is quite peculiar. After sucking his blood dry later, I must take this burning stick-like thing back and take a good look at it. Just then, the burning stick fell on the hand grabbing Zhang Xiaofan's chest. The dark blue bead brushed past the rampant blood-sucking skin. Was the blood under the skin calling for something? The blood-sucking demon suddenly let out a sharp scream, releasing Zhang Xiaofan and leaping backwards. He saw that the originally plump skin, swollen from sucking blood, almost instantly shriveled, even worse than before. In front of him, Zhang Xiaofan's body staggered, but the top of the burning stick in his hand, especially the bead on the top, strangely lit up, reflecting the blood streaks around it, shining red. The blood-sucking demon suddenly sneered. No wonder why Zhang Laozhen died like this. It turns out there's something peculiar about you. Such a treasure exists in the world. Kid, I'll take your life along with it. As he spoke, his figure flew up, his ghost hand-like claws, this time, aimed straight at Zhang Xiaofan's head. Poor Zhang Xiaofan was now weak all over, unable to resist anymore. He could only watch as he was about to die under the blood-sucking demon's claws. Evil demon, a stern shout, full of anger. A scorching wave of heat instantly came rushing through, like a giant wave clearing the sky, sweeping across the entire forest. Within 10 yards around them, all the trees withered instantly, leaving only a brilliant blaze descending from the sky, tearing apart the dark clouds. The blood-sucking demon was greatly shocked. The newcomer's cultivation was extraordinary, far beyond ordinary. Where could he still afford to hurt Zhang Xiaofan? He retreated quickly, amidst the piercing screams. The blood-red light from the skull sword, forming a blood-red light wall in front of him. Boom ... double quotes. The thunderous roar descended like a crushing thunderbolt, the flame smashing onto the blood wall, sizzling with waves of heat. Erupting suddenly, the immense force pushed the blood-sucking demon backwards, retreating several feet, yet the force did not diminish. still pressing forward like a mountainous roar. The blood-sucking demon's face turned pale, shouting out, his gestures changing, his 10 fingers moving in unison, instantly shooting out blood-red lights from the eyes of the red skull, piercing through the blood wall, striking the crimson sword. Amidst a loud noise, the crimson immortal sword flew back, and the blood-sucking demon's body also shook, retreating a few steps before finally stabilizing himself. Red flame, the blood-sucking demon's eyes suddenly flashed with chilling intent, his face freezing like frost, as the intense heat wave receded in a flash. As the flames flickered past, Tia Bai slowly appeared. Another figure flashed behind him. It was Su Ru, seeing his master and mistress rushing over. Zhang Xiaofan's heart warmed. Su Ru's face was full of worrying as she looked at him and softly asked, Xiaofan, are you alright? Zhang Xiaofan forced a smile and said, I'm fine, master, mistress. Before he could finish his sentence, his vision suddenly flashed with stars. Then everything went black, and he fainted. So Ru frowned. Tia Bai ignored the blood-sucking demon, but also looked over at Zhang Xiaofan. After a moment, Su Ru finished her examination, reached into her bosom, took out a bottle, poured out a golden pill, and fed it to Zhang Xiaofan. Then she nodded to Tia Bai and whispered, he won't die. After a pause, she glanced at the blood-sucking demon in the distance. It's the blood-sucking technique. A flash of anger crossed Tia Bai's face. He turned his head and met the eyes of the blood-sucking demon. Blood-sucking demon, you've been famous for hundreds of years, yet you use such despicable means to deal with a junior. What kind of person are you? Spit. The blood-sucking demon viciously retorted, your disciple's life is life. Isn't my disciple's life also life? Tia Bai said coldly. What does it have to do with your ghostly disciple? The blood-sucking demon's gaze hardened, saying, he killed my disciple under the 10,000-bet ancient cave of Kongsang Mountain. So I came to kill him. What about it? Good. Tia Bai suddenly exclaimed. Well done. The blood-sucking demon was taken aback. Tia Bai sneered coldly. I've always looked down on my own disciple, but seeing him today, he's more promising than I imagined. He even knows how to eliminate harm for the people. The blood-sucking demon was furious. Good, good. You dogs raised by a bitch. 100 years ago, you pushed me into a well and hunted me down. Today, I'll have the chance to meet your red flame sword again. Tia Bai took a deep breath, his right hand swiping through the air. In an instant, the red flame immortal sword seemed to sense its master's thoughts, vibrating slightly with excitement. 100 years ago, I let you escape by chance. Today, let me see once again how far your despicable blood-sucking technique has come in bullying my disciple.